Welcome back to the channel. Here is another episode of Real Estate Stories, and we have a really good one for you guys today, especially if you're a real estate agent and watching this. And of course, joining me today is Michelle Cohen.
Hello, everybody.
All right, so here we go, guys. If you're a real estate agent watching this, pay close attention. There's years of wisdom coming at you here. And if you happen to be anybody else, you might just find this interesting from a real estate agent's perspective. So stay tuned. One of the things Michelle and I have been noticing lately, especially the last couple of months on social media, we're part of all kinds of realtor groups, some local, some national, different focuses, some are generic. We're noticing some real estate agents, or more posts than we used to see. Hey, how do I find a client and have a quick closing? I need a closing ASAP. And we didn't talk about this until recently, but you're seeing the same stuff I'm seeing. There's agents out there that are starting to panic.
Yeah.
They're starting to panic because they don't have any closings or warm or hot clients that they're servicing. And we know that there's a lead time from the day we meet someone to the point that there's a closing. There's a lead time there. And as you guys know from previous videos, we don't get paid until the closing actually happens. We are a 100% commission. There was one post that really resonated with me the other day. It was some person I've seen her posting before, and post basically said, okay, I'm not paying my mortgage this month. So it's interesting. I don't know where she is. She's nobody we know. I don't know what part of the country she's from, but the market has slowed down. Mm-hmm. And real estate agents are not order takers, right? We were to some degree, that's the damn truth, for a few years. But I've been through all these up and down cycles, and that was a real anomaly, those 3.5 years, spring 2020 till pretty much summer 2023. Mm-hmm. I got all kinds of notes here, Michelle. Bear with me. Jump in whenever you want. I think that a lot of what happened also is a lot of agents kind of like really, what's the term, like high on the hog? Is that the term?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. That thought that the velocity of what we were experiencing the last few years would never end. And I think that there are some agents out there that stretch themselves pretty thin with pretty big mortgage payments for themselves, pretty big car payments, thinking that it would never end. But the truth is, when you're in a commission-only business, you never really know. Actually, when you have any job, you never really know, right? People can get laid off. You just never know.
It's just more consistent.
This video is certainly not meant to be negative, but it's meant to be real. I was telling you that I had a phone call from an agent a couple of months ago, actually. It was sometime during the summer, and he kind of sniffed out that things were starting to change. Things were starting to slow down. This is an agent not brand new to the business, been in the business for several years, not a veteran, but several years, runs a small team. And he confided in me and said, I don't know what to do. He's like, I'm not getting enough seller leads. I have a lot of buyer leads, but I'm not getting enough seller leads. So I'm like, okay. So, and then he continued to say, well, my team takes care of the buyer leads, but I need the seller leads to put the listings out there. And we know that for the last couple of years, there's been a shortage of listings. That's no secret. And I think it was starting to catch up with him. So I was like, okay, so are you saying that you don't ever service buyer leads or help buyers? And he said, no, the team does that. I don't really want to. I'm like, wait, what? What do you mean you don't want to service buyers? And he's like, well, buyers are more time consuming and it can be a more frustrating process. And there's some truth there, definitely. And with established teams, the general track, the way a team evolves is the team leader often at some point stops servicing buyer leads for exactly the reasons he was talking about. but I think you know me pretty well, Michelle.
Oh, absolutely.
And I've always done things a little different than other real estate agents. I take nuggets of things that I like, and I
Mhm.
always kind of live my life the way I felt it made sense. And honestly, for those of you guys watching this, I never stopped servicing
Yeah.
buyers in the evolution of my real estate team because I just believe that servicing buyers makes me a better listing agent.
Sure. Whole
Uh,
different insight.
Absolutely. So if I could be sitting in, and I'm sure you've had these conversations, if you could be
Mhm.
sitting at a kitchen table with a seller and say, hey, let's take a look at your home, because I also service a lot of buyers in the area, and I'm going to put my buyer's eyeglasses
Mhm.
on, and I'm going to look at your house objectively the way a fresh set of buyers would be looking at your house, and let's talk about pros and cons.
Yeah.
Right? And I think that keeps you sharp. And the truth is, I love seeing houses.
Yeah.
Like, I
That's why
mean,
we're in this.
I know, like I really do. Like I love understanding people's situations and trying to help them through it. But I really love seeing all these different homes, right? So if you're a buyer's agent or you're servicing buyers, you're going to see a lot more homes than if you're a listing
Right.
agent only. You
Right.
just are, right? Because I could go out this afternoon and see 6 homes in a couple hours with a particular buyer, but may only have one listing appointment.
Yeah.
And I haven't been in the competition's home.
Right.
Right? So I know we're kind of getting off on a tangent, but I think that for those of you real estate agents that are watching this that have not been in the business for at least 15 years, when we experienced the downturn around 2008, 2009, there is hope. Trust me, there's hope. In those days, I believed, and I still believe it, even if it slows down a little bit more than it is right now as we make this video, that there will always be people that need to buy or sell a house.
Yeah.
There just aren't as many at this moment, different circumstances than those years ago. But right, like Michelle, why will there always be people that need to buy or sell a home? What happens with humans?
Lifestyle change. There's so many ways of life. Unfortunately, death, marriage, divorce, babies, health, so many reasons.
Yeah, people get married, they want to buy a place together.
Mhm.
Families get bigger, they need a bigger place. People pass away, they don't need the place, right? The family doesn't need the place. Um, Jobs, right? People
Relocation.
relocate for work all the time.
Mhm.
Totally happens all the time. So there will always be people that need to buy or sell. And your job as a real estate agent, not really speaking to you, Michelle, but I guess I kind of am because you're
But
an
it
agent.
is.
I'm talking to myself too, is all of our jobs as real
Yeah.
estate agents is to find those people and figure out how we can help them.
Right.
Because if you're helping someone, they're gonna let you provide the service. That's how I've always approached it. I don't sell anything. I help people, right?
And
That's
it depends
always,
how you go into it. I mean, if you go into it with the mindset of just the dollar amount, that's what you're gonna get out of it, and you're not gonna get anything afterwards.
yeah, exactly. You can't count I really believe this. You
Yeah.
can't count the commission, especially before you close. Like you
Yeah,
just can't, because anything could happen.
because
But you
anything can
can't.
happen.
I mean, obviously, we all have bills to pay. We all want to make money at the end. We live in a capitalist country. That's how it works.
Mhm.
But but I really believe that if you approach it that way, approach the client with just you're kind of smelling the commission
Yeah.
through it. I
They
think it
know it.
comes. They know it
Yeah, they
exactly.
know it.
Thank you. It comes through.
Yeah.
It comes through in how you service them. I really believe that people can pick up on that.
Sure.
But if you are an agent and you realize that I'm here to help you with probably the biggest decision or decisions of your life, and you coach them through that and help
Mhm.
facilitate during this exciting time, emotional time, whatever it is for that particular person or people, then they can feel that too,
Absolutely. It's
right?
like it's like smiling on the phone, right? People know that you're smiling and that you feel good about talking to them. It's the same thing when you're talking to an to a potential client or a client on the phone or in front of them.
Yeah, it's so funny you say that. I had a client recently, I had a closing recently, and I started meeting with them probably 6 months ago.
Mm.
It took months just to get the house ready. It could have been more than 6 months ago, actually. It took months to get from the initial meeting. It took months to get the house prepped. They've been living in the house 40 something years. And it's a process. What we do is a process. And for
Right.
some people, it's longer than others. And especially, and so we kept in touch until, of course, until we listed it. And then there was even more communication. And then they relocated, and we made sure the closing went off without a hitch after they left. And then I was talking to them after the closing. I called them up, say everything's good, and I said, let me know when the wire hits your bank account. Mm-hmm. And Pat said, like literally, she's like, so I'm not going to talk to you anymore. You know, and I was like, well, keep my number. I said, fortunately, I completed the job you hired me to do.
Yeah.
You know, and it's interesting. So those are the most awesome clients that you get connected to. We didn't go out to dinner, or we didn't become friends. Right. We got friendly, right?
But there's still that emotional connection.
She absolutely had an emotional connection because, you know, it's funny. You get to know people a little bit, and she was pretty anxious. Yeah. This process brought out a lot of anxiety in her. Big move, 40 something years in the same house, getting a little older. Just a big move, right? Yeah. So as I got to know her, I learned how to pick up on those cues on where she was on a given day when we would talk. So, you know, I always joke, and I think I've told you this before, that I believe that those of us who are in it for real, we're half real estate agent and half psychologist.
Yeah, putting that hat on.
Absolutely. And I think you guys out there who are real estate agents who are watching this, you know exactly what I mean.
Right.
You know exactly what I'm talking about, because that is the damn truth. That this is a very, or even if everything's good, it's a good move and there's no hiccups, it's still a stressful time, right? So, but back to the point here, I think that it's important for all you guys out there who are agents to understand, if you're sweating it right now and you're really worried about the market always goes up and down. Yeah. We haven't had a down. We were overdue for a down, by the way, overdue. And we are into the fall, and we are into student loan repayment, and we are into almost 8% interest rates. So this big crock pot full of ingredients is slowing us down a little bit. But don't worry. It always gets better. Yeah. It always gets better. And what you learn from these cycles is how to toughen up, how to look at your expenses as a real estate agent. You know, we all have too many automated things coming out of our bank. Yeah. You know, on our credit card statements. This is a great time if you're a real estate agent. Look at your statements and go, okay, does this make sense? Does this make sense? Does that make sense? And you know, tighten it up a little bit. You know, when you're a little slower like this, it gives you an opportunity to look at your numbers and go, does this make sense? And if it doesn't, get rid of it.
What is it? The want, the need, and is it just fun?
I was just talking to Mason about this kind of stuff, right? We literally just had this conversation, and I was coaching him as the team leader, but as dad.
That is dad.
There's a shout out to you, Mason. But I was just talking to him about this because he's a part of our team, and you know, he's married, he has a house, and I said, like, I can't make decisions for you, for meaning him. I can't make decisions for you, Michelle. We can only make decisions for ourselves. But when, you know, we were talking, I was giving you the example, you know, if Martine and I are looking, all right, we want to go see this comedian, you know, some tickets to some show. She'll look it up, and let's say the tickets with the processing is $300, right? We'll look at each other and go, okay, is that worth it to us? Is it $300 worth of fun, right? Or is that $200 dinner worth $200? We don't just automatically do those things, up market or down market. Those are financial muscles that we've kind of developed over the years, where we take a moment and go, is it worth it? So, you know, I'm not talking about, obviously we all have mortgages and you know, our phones and our utilities, that all that stuff, we have to pay that, right? We have to
Right.
live somewhere. All that stuff comes first. But then all these other things that we spend money on as humans and real estate agents, right, for our businesses, we look at it and go, does it make sense to us? And nobody can answer that other than you.
Sure.
When you're looking at your own numbers and you're looking at your own house, you're talking to your spouse or your partners about it. Only you guys can make those decisions on, is it worth it? And I can tell you that with me and Martine, a lot of the times we'll look at something and go, nah, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, the show doesn't, you know, the show's funny. Like, but we saw him 5 years ago. I don't need to see him again.
Right.
Or whatever it is, you know, or the dinner, I don't care. Like, but we all have different things that we get enjoyment out of and want to spend money on. So that's the kind of stuff we have to look at. And when the market slows down like this a little bit, it's important for all of us to look a little harder at those things.
Yeah.
Especially the stuff that's automatic that we don't really think about too much. Right? But I'll say it again. I'll say it again for you, Michelle. I'm going to say it again for any of you real estate agents watching this. Have no fear. It always gets better.
Yeah.
It could get a little worse before it gets better. We don't know. I don't have a crystal ball, but it always gets better because there's always people that have to buy or sell or both.
Right.
And there's always reasons for that. And our jobs as real estate agents is to find them and show them how we can help them. And that's how you stay in this business. That was good, right?
That was good. Exhausted though, huh?
Yeah, that was tiring. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Michelle, thank you for supporting this conversation and for listening. If you made it all the way to the end, thank you again so much on this video. Please take a moment, subscribe to our channel, comment below. All of our contact information is below if you think we could help you or you need a real estate agent somewhere here in the United States of America. We have a great network of like-minded professionals who are waiting to help you too. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.